Good morning, everybody. Happy Sabbath. Laura Ruttan here. It's time for the Faith at Home Focus for this week. Just a little review of our Faith at Home Focus routine. We start the month off with a Bible memory verse. We have ours on our wall. I wonder if you do. If you don't, maybe you want to try that. Last week we talked about making a prayer habit, so I'm wondering how you're doing. I'm doing okay. I've missed a few days, but I'm doing okay. So now this week is going to be our Bible focus. And in his message, Matthew's going to be talking about John chapter 1, verse 14, which says, can you see that? Yes, you can. The Word became flesh and made his dwelling among us. We have seen his glory, the glory of the one and only Son, who came from the Father, full of grace and truth. John chapter 1, 14. So we're going to be focusing on what is grace. And grace is a gift that we don't deserve. If we're, as Christians, we think of grace as a gift that we don't deserve. So I want to show you a little example to help understand how grace works in our lives, how God's grace works in our lives. And I got this great idea from Bible lesson stuff online, and it came from a website called homeschoolsuperfreak.com. Anyway, with me I have two balloons. So this balloon, this one's name's Grace, and inside of her is actually water. And I'm going to use that water to represent God being in our life, okay? And then here's our second balloon. This person is just not Grace, I'm not Grace, and this person doesn't have God in their life, so there's no water inside of this balloon. So we know whether we have God in our life or we don't. There's times where we're tempted to do the wrong thing. Like, let's say you just get really upset or someone does something to you that really bothers you and you use a bad word. So not great. Let's just see what happens to Grace when she accidentally uses a bad word. We're going to use this candle to kind of represent doing the wrong thing. So like I said, Grace is filled with God in her life, and that's why there's water inside of her. And so if you bring her up to the balloon, the flame up to the balloon, what's going to happen here? Well, flames touching the balloon, and yeah, nothing happens, okay? So yeah, she made a bad choice. She apologizes, and yeah, God gives her grace. He forgives her for her bad choice. However, here we have this person, I'm not Grace, and let's see what happens when she uses a bad word and makes a bad choice. So we're going to bring her up to the candle. Oh my. So as we saw from that demonstration, having God's grace in our life is really a positive thing for us. And even when we make a bad choice, we can ask for forgiveness, and God gives it to us. It's a gift that we don't deserve. So here's what I would like you to do this week, your life's application of what the Bible tells us. I want you to join with who you live with, and I want you to think of ways that you can show grace in your life. God gives us grace every day. How can we share God's grace through our actions? So one example might be that, say you're somewhere, actually it could even be at home, and someone accidentally spills something on you by knocking over a glass of water or something like that. You could get upset, definitely, or you could give that person grace and say, it's okay, you didn't mean to, no big deal, and then move on. So I want you to think in your own life, just think of examples, things that happen to you on a daily basis where you could be the giver of grace. And of course, by doing that, we're showing God's love, sharing God's love, and demonstrating his love for us by the way we act. Have a great week. See you next week for our act of service.